every day when I don't do the grateful exercise, I can give for granted so many things. Like, for example, that I have eyes to see. And I don't know if in a month's time I will have eyes to see. I have ears I can hear. But not everybody has an ear that they can hear. And what else? Maybe it's not guaranteed that you will have it for all your life. I have legs to walk, and yet accidents happen every day. So it's something that we need to not give it for granted, because we have things that work in our lives. And even if you're blind or deaf on a wheelchair, you still have things that work in your life. So focus on the things that are working in your life, because maybe one day we won't have those things. And I had this lesson which brought me back to reality about how many things I was not giving for how many things I was being ungrateful and giving them for granted. As some last week, 2 weeks ago, I don't remember, I burned my hand with a very hot pan. Like, it really burned it. It came out of the oven, and I completely forgot that pan was in the oven till 3 minutes before. I was a bit distracted. I put my hand to catch it, and it was so hot, and I burned. And now the hand is healing. I still have the bandage, and hopefully in 2 days, she told me 2-3 days I can take off the bandage. And so the bandage is coming off in 2 days because I'm so tired to have it. But I gave so many things for granted that I could do with my main hand, because I'm right-handed, and of course I got hurt in my right hand. And actually, it hurted when I stretch it. And because you forget, or you're trying to do things despite having an injury, you then realize, this hurts. And you couldn't stretch it. I even brush my hair, the tension, I couldn't brush my hair with my right hand. It was so uncomfortable, but yet it was a very small thing, because I knew the burn wasn't that serious and I will be fine soon. And so this brought me back to being grateful that I have 2 hands. And that one is healing as well, despite the injury. And so journaling is also helping me to focus on other things that I can't give for granted. I have a roof on my head. How many people are homeless, but once upon a time they had a roof on their head, they had food in the fridge, they had money in the bank, and now they're homeless. So I'm not saying I don't want to be dark. I don't. But it's important to recognize that let's be grateful for what we have. And if we are lucky, we're going to be grateful all our lives, every single day of our lives, for those things, when we remember to be grateful. Because sometimes I understand life can get turbulent and you can end up in a hurricane of emotions or situation that sometimes we don't have time. But whenever you stop and think, we are more grateful, we should be more grateful than we are. And plus, being grateful is the recipe to be happy. It's one of the main ingredients. Without grateful, you can't be happy. Trust me. So, journaling has been scientifically proven that even doing only 5 minutes a day trains your brain to focus on the good in your life. And it makes you start each day with a purpose. If you do the first thing in the morning, say, what do you want to accomplish today? Not about your to-do list. What do you want to accomplish today? And it makes you end your day in the easiest possible way, where you can force yourself to think, what happened today, good and bad? And the bad, I only put things that are shocking. Like if you hear this live from the beginning, is the other day, 2-3 days ago, I assisted a woman kicking her dog in the canal. The dog was fine. It was just a small kick, but still, that's cruelty, and it's an abusive person. So it's not acceptable, and I hope they find that woman and take the dog out of her, because a person who is violent to animals is violent person. So I don't believe some people are violent to animals and not to children and to people. No. If a person is violent, is a violent, and that's it. They need to be into therapy or whatever, but they can't have a dog. And if they have a child, they should really check that the child is not being abused as well. And so it's very important that you start this journaling. Start it in the best way you can, and you don't need a new journal, the fancy one, because not always it's the right thing to do to get the new one. Just start somewhere, get your thoughts out there. And also because when you put things on a paper or you write it down in an app, at least you feel lighter. And I promise you, in a week, not even a week, I saw a big difference. So, remember that if your mind is constantly busy, or you can't seem to live in the present moment, or you have negative loop moments in this period, because especially now that during this pandemic, we have much more time to overthink things. And so if you want to keep sanity, do your research. Try to find an app that will work for you, that is secure, because you're putting what's very vulnerable about you, and you want something that's very private. And if not, also physical journal can work, as long as you have a safe place to put it that, in your heart, that is safe, that nobody will snoop through it. And start this journaling. So you can be vulnerable, you can be real, you can be raw. But get those thoughts out of you, and you will feel less overwhelmed. Thank you for listening, sweet bees. And if you like this podcast, like and subscribe. Ciao!